All right, what's going on, everybody? This is the JAMPcon podcast. It's your host, Devin. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We had the episode 6 a while back. Went real well. Had a couple of co-hosts, had Corey and John. Was trying to get my sounds together. Trying to use a program that we can, have some call-ins for the podcast, as well as have we had one of the hosts, we had John in studio, and we had Corey dialing in, and I didn't have the settings right. It wasn't recognizing one of the mics. So basically, my mic was the only one that was really coming through good. The volume on Corey's end, which was set from my end, wasn't crisp, so it wasn't really salvageable. Man, it was an hour's worth, so it was unfortunate. And so I'm going ahead and reshooting the episode 6. John might be on here shortly, so he might dial in. We got the lines open, and we're gonna catch Corey another time. Man, it's just been busy for everybody, including myself. Man, it's been a very productive month. Not only for of course, personal dealings, career, family, things of that nature, but of course with me in specific with that and JAMPcon, we're 7 months out, and so the grind has been in full effect. So, but again, appreciate you guys tuning in. Today, some of the things we're going to talk about in the gaming world, which has been buzz. We're going to touch on, again, the Final Fantasy VII Remake. We're going to touch on No Man's Sky, which was released not too long ago. And that's been a pretty hot topic. On the anime end, we're going to, of course, touch on a couple of animes I've mentioned before. And we're going to retouch on those again. Berserk, the new Berserk, Gargantia, Blue Exorcist. We're going to chop it up a little bit on that. And for the, of course, on the movies end, we got Batman: The Killing Joke and Suicide Squad. We're going to touch on again. And so we're just going to hit up a little bit of everything. So we'll jump right on in. We're going to start with the gaming. Now, if you guys, again, first off, if you guys haven't already, hit us up on the social media pages. The JAMPcon podcast is brought to you by JAMPcon, the anime, comic, and gaming convention. It's going to be here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, next year, April 21st through the 23rd, 2017. So get your tickets at jampcon.com. We have the obviously I've got the new poster. Shout out to our artist that we've got on lock, DJ. Shout out to DJ, man. He's been doing some great work on our graphics and things of that nature. But yeah. So definitely hit us up, Facebook. We're on Twitter at the Real JAMPcon. We're obviously on SoundCloud. You'll see on the link above, you'll see the Twitch and the SoundCloud. We're also got the YouTube page. Just look up JAMPcon, subscribe there. But anyway, so again, in the gaming world here recently, I believe it was the beginning of August, there was a game. And if you've seen some of the, again, if you follow us on the social media, or if you're just in touch with the gaming aspect, the gaming world, No Man's Sky was released. I believe it was August 12th, I think, beginning of August. Much anticipated release. I know Twitch was ablaze. You had a lot of streamers that were having No Man's Sky release countdowns. It was released on the PlayStation 4 first, and then it hit PC again at the beginning of August. And the game was again, it's been pushed back a few times. I think it's a team of 15 or 16 guys, developers that developed the game, so it was an indie game. Had a lot of buzz behind it. Basically, it was talked about as being a space exploration game where, if you can imagine how big our universe is, I mean, it's ridiculous, and so they wanted to sort of make a miniature version of that that's completely open-ended. They were advertising there's 18 quintillion planets. Most of those planets would never be discovered because of just the mass of it. They were talking about how players, it would be highly unlikely but possible that they would be able to meet up in the game if you happen to find each other, because the game has no there's no way to set markers to there's no waypoints in that aspect where you can find people. There's really nothing in the game that makes it easier for you to find people. And it talked about running into other alien civilization, and you find these different monoliths where you can learn language. This all this stuff. I mean, it was just crazy. So we're thinking, okay, we got an MMO, which is a massive multiplayer online game, great potential. So the game launches, and right away, again, you have this ability to explore, and you're discovering these new plants, new species, new animals, new planet. And you're able to name them, and all that good stuff. And basically, you also had the survival piece to it, because if you get on a planet, and that planet had, let's say, negative 100 degrees Celsius, which some planets were, there was negative 121. So you get on the planet and it has that. Well, guess what? Your protective suit is going to incur damage, and you're going to incur damage. So you have to mine for resources to keep your suit, good. Same thing with your plane. You started off with a aircraft so that you can travel. The travel is very smooth. You can basically go from a planet, boost up, go out of the atmosphere, and hop to another planet. If you see a moon, you can hop to the moon. That particular moon on that planet. So the travel was real cool, and you have space. You can mine in space as well with the aircraft. But it was very apparent, and I know me and Corey talked about it. Earlier, before the game, was released, and basically, our question was, hey, if this game is so massive, you rarely run into people. I mean, what are you going to do? How are you going to keep people interested? Like, how are you going to do it? And so we get the game, and the buzz is good. We're playing it. You're having to do a lot of mining. You're having to do a lot of things. And quickly, the game started to get boring. Hold on one second. I don't check my bag, because I don't know when I'm recording, sweetheart. Just check my backpack, which is in there. Close the door. Sorry, guys. Look, daddy, kids, you tell them, hey, you record, and they find a way to come in anyway. So in any event, so long story short, when you're playing the game, it just got really repetitive. I mean, that's one of the things, ultra repetitive, number one. Very, very repetitive. IGN gave it a 6, which was spot on when you read the review. Spot on. Spot on. I mean, it's very repetitive. It is massive multiplayer it is massive online, massively online game, but it isn't multiplayer. It's actually single player, which threw a lot of people off. Not only would it be highly unlikely, as they stated, to run into another person. You literally can't run into a person. Like, if you saw two people actually were able to get in the same area and they couldn't see each other. So it's really a single player game. When you go up in rank, like in terms of your ship, when you get your ship upgraded, your suit upgraded, and all that good stuff, the work that you have to do that, the reward isn't really there. It's like, okay, I got this new ship. What can I do with it? Well, the same thing you did with the old ship. The only plus side to a new ship and a new or upgraded exosuit is you have more space to hold stuff. The inventory system is really clunky. When you do upgrades to your ship, it takes up storage slots, which makes absolutely no sense. So it's like, do I upgrade the ship? or do I save this slot to store minerals and things that I'm gonna need that I might not run into on another planet? Not only that, when you get these upgrades, you really can't feel like if you upgrade your beam for your mining or you upgrade your guns or whatever, you really don't feel that upgrade. At least I didn't. So it's really a space exploration survival game that's single player. You don't run into really a lot of alien folks. Like you'll run into an outpost. Basically, you have these same missions that get extremely repetitive. The dialogue is boring. You run into like one life form on this one dude on this outpost, and it's a quick conversation. But you can't really tell what he's saying because you don't know his language. So you have to find those little language pieces. I probably had like 30 words in their language, and every time I talk to one, it's only 2 out of all 30 words, and these are common words, for the most part. Out of 30 words, I might understand 2 of them, and then I have to make a guess. It's like sort of like a challenge question. He's mad. The guy is mad, and his face is flared up, and he slams the table, and he points at this and that. Which one do you pick? You don't see him doing any of this. It tries to explain it. It tries to tell the story through the words. I just don't think. I mean, out of that team. I mean, shout out to the team, but I don't think they hired any writers. I don't think out of the 15, 16 guys that developed the game, none of them are writers, because I could have wrote a better story. But there's no storyline really. There's no outside. You got to get to the middle of the goal is to get to the middle of the center of the universe. But I'm gonna look up and see if anybody's ever done that and wonder what's the reward, because there's really no reward in the game for doing anything. There's no real reward. So they came out with an article that they've lost within 2 weeks, because it ain't been out long, a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks now. They said in 2 weeks they lost 90% of their user base. So yeah, the game's over, basically. I mean, they would pretty much have to, the update to the game would basically make it a new game. That's the only way they're gonna keep anybody, because it's mad boring. I streamed it a few times, and I tried to make it interesting, for myself. I mean, it's boring to watch, but did work. We'll say that. Madden for my Madden guys. Of course, Madden 17 just came out, and I've been jumping on that a bit. I think I'm 5-1 or 6-1 on my franchise mode on all Madden. It's not saying much. I think I've done better in it than I have in previous iterations, where it's very hard to beat the computer. This one, not so much. I'm able to, I don't have any defense. I still didn't figure the defense out. Defense is really tough, stopping the run, things like that. You could just be the computer, because they've always been tough anyway, but it seems like they're very tough. Guys ain't coming up off the block. I mean, you really got to control whatever guy you got on defense. You really got to control him like an all-star. But the game's good. I like it. It's your non-football sports people that's like, oh, it's the same game every year. It's just the same game, just different stats. No, it's not. You gotta play it. It ain't. It might look the same, just like every year in football. Every year is different for every team in real life. They got the same jerseys. They might upgrade the jerseys. It might look the same, but it's a different season. And same thing with basketball. Very different season. So, and the game is much like that. So, I'm just getting my skills up, because I'm in the Madden League, locally here. So, hopefully I can get my Cowboys. Shout out to the Cowboys. I'm actually going to be going to a home game next month. Get to see them for the first time. Of course, Romo's injured. That's another conversation for another day. This dude's 36 years old, trying to scramble. I mean, look, the collarbone broke twice last year. But in any event. So that's been the biggest stuff on the gaming. I know there's a couple other games that came out I haven't played. Deus Ex is out. But for the most part, I've been on that StarCraft and Counter-Strike, and just the usual. You guys see the streams, so I've been on there. So let's touch on the movies. I saw Batman Killing Joke. So I actually saw it on my during my anniversary week at my this past the first year anniversary with the wifey. Um, did I see? I'm tripping. I'm tripping. That was a different movie. Sorry, that was Suicide Squad. I saw. I saw Batman Killing Joke beforehand, so we'll chop it up on that. I read the comic a little bit. The comic was actually pretty good. I like that in the animated series, which DC does a great job with their animated movies. If they could translate that over to the movie side, they would be a beast. They would definitely challenge Marvel. But of course, it's clear Marvel's just got a better. They got a better movie circle, man. They got the cast they got working, and those studios are just they're doing some good things. But the Killing Joke actually expands in more backstory and detail than the comic. That they stay true to the comic, but you got about a good 30 minutes of backstory, which leads into when Batman went to the jail to talk with the Joker, which was a real interesting conversation. That scene, which you see in the trailer, and there's going to be a couple of spoilers, just FYI. This movie's been out, so you're going to see some. There's going to be a couple of spoilers, but he meets with the Joker, and that's where actually that scene is where the comic starts. But before that scene comes into play, you get about 30 minutes, roughly 30 to 40 minutes of backstory where they show Batman and his relationship with Batgirl and all that good stuff. And you get to see, because again, Batgirl is Gordon's daughter. And if you guys have played the Arkham series, for instance, if you haven't read the comics, but you played the Arkham series, the Oracle, who is his communication, his line of communication. She helps him out while he's on the missions, like Alfred was doing. That's Gordon's daughter, and she's in a wheelchair. So you get to see how she got put in the wheelchair, which is basically Joker shooting her in the stomach at the right angle to hit her spine. So that's how she was paralyzed. But nevertheless, you get to see that unfold. And he goes and he's like, he's trying to appeal to the Joker. He's trying to say, look, man, we need to come to we got to come to something, because either you gonna kill me or I'm gonna kill you. I mean, at the end of the day, that's where it's going. And ended very interesting. I mean, the Killing Joke, that kind of plays a part in the end. I won't give the end out, but very surprising end. Again, I think this comic was made back in the 80s. Definitely enjoyed it. It was a more serious Joker. Like he wasn't playing. He wasn't playing no games. Definitely recommend it. I think it was in the theaters for a couple of days on their special release before it was coming out on DVD. So I definitely give that well, it's not in the theaters anymore, but it would be a full price rating. Suicide Squad. So Suicide Squad, yeah, it was. I enjoyed it. It was one of those you either love it or you hate it. I enjoyed it though. It got real square near the end. Like as after about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, it started to get real predictable. It started to get real. You could really tell the PG in it. Will Smith and Harley Quinn, the chick that plays her, they really carried the movie. It kind of made Harley Quinn kind of human, like you kind of felt for her, even though she's about as crazy as Joker. It really brought, they really kind of humanized them just a taste. Especially when she thought Joker had died. She was real in her feelings, and they started as a team. They started to kind of care about each other a little bit, so it was real interesting. But they had a lot of backstory and introduced the characters, and I wish there would have been a lot more Joker. I think Leto did real good. I liked the scene with when Batman showed up, and put in work, so it was good to see. My boy Ben putting in work. Great Batman. I'm looking forward to seeing what his solo Batman movie is going to look like. A lot of people, they sleep on Ben Affleck. He's award-winning actor, award-winning director. I mean, he's got some very skilled actor. So we'll see what's popping with him. But yeah, Suicide Squad was good. Again, I gave it a good 7. Gave it a decent 7. It was entertaining. It wasn't. It's not something I would need to see twice. So, but yeah, it definitely needed more Joker, more just some of those and more Joker and Harley. I mean, they showed a lot of Harley, but you want to get Joker in there. I mean, I think he would have really upped that movie's score if they would have had more of him in there. But it was about the Suicide Squad, so it's understandable. Yeah. So the movies, we got that covered. Also, while I'm thinking about it, I want to shout out the Audio Nights podcast, Brainstorm Comics. David and the group. I was on their podcast several weeks ago, and that went well, man. You guys go check them out on SoundCloud.com. You'll see the Audio Nights. Also, check out their social media pages and hit them up there. Good group, man. David's he's put in work. He's helped us out a lot on the JAMPcon front. So let's flip over to anime. First off, Pokemon Go. I think it's been out for a good little while now. Very popular. You got the Pokemon gyms where people put in work. You got you got to catch them all. It's been heavy. When I was on my wedding anniversary, we was at in Florida at St. Augustine, very historical place if you guys have been there. And they have now in Pokemon Go you have these Pokestops where you pass by them if you're in their area. You can swipe them and get re-ups on potions and Pokeballs and things of that nature. And these stops, typically they're either at churches or historical sites. Normally, though, those are the most common that you'll find them. And so St. Augustine is full. I mean, in a 1 block radius, you could run into like 20 different historical reads. And boom, just tons of Pokestops. I mean, it was crazy. But I was able to actually find a lot of historical things that you could pass by and miss because Pokemon Go would pop them up. But man, I'm hoping it stays to be really good. I know there's been some talk that the developers and some of the updates they've been doing, some of the things they took away, has kind of made the game harder and things of that nature unnecessarily. I'm hoping the buzz stays good. I'm hoping that it continues to be a mainstay because it'll be fun to get that going at JAMPcon. Matter of fact, I need to check and see. Of course, we're going to be at the Chattanooga there. If you I got our poster there. We're going to be at the Chattanooga Hotel here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I need to see if there's a Pokemon gym there. I don't know. I've got to drive by there and see what's going on. But I've enjoyed it. Catching some Pokemon, and I mean, you see kids now, you see people now walking around and they're in the cell phone. I mean, they might be playing the game now. You have to kind of assess how they're looking, how focused they are. It's like, yeah, they must be on it. So it's been huge. Also shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh! And the crew. Again, we've got Eric Stewart and Dan Green that's going to be coming down next year for the convention. Man, we're really, 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 really excited about that. And we're going to get his band down here to do some performances also. But they have just announced that they're going to be, there's a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Series that's coming out. And they're bringing back, of course, Eric and Dan for the Yugi and Kaiba roles, the original actors, and they're bringing back Tara Sands for her character there. And so that's going to be huge, man. That series is going to be huge. Can't wait to see it. Matter of fact, I just found some fan art of Yugi. I'm going to have to post that. It was a beast. But yeah, shout out to those guys, man. Again, we can't wait to have them down here next year for the convention. Shout out to Akai Khan. They're actually at a Con this weekend. It was Con was a big success. JAMPcon had boots on the ground up there, so that was great. Shout out to Erica Dodd, one of our staff, man, our adored staff. I know she's had a grand time up there. I mean, it's a big couple of few weekends for conventions. You got Con just wrapped up. It's gonna be wrapping up, I guess, today. Dragon Con next weekend. Dragon Con, and then the last weekend of September you got AWA. And then I know Anime Blast is coming up, so it's nuts, man. The end of the year is nuts. But shout out to them, Tina Moore and crew. So also on the anime front, we got Berserk. Now I'm still looking for it. I'm trying to find it to get a watch on it, but they just started the new Berserk series that takes place after the original series. Which is, if y'all hadn't seen the original series, please go see it. Man, it's jacked up at the end. What happens with Guts and his chick and that crew, man. It was rough, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I haven't found it yet. So if you guys know, please let me know. If you guys know what's popping with it, please let me know. And last anime, Gargantia, on the Verdurous planet. I kept forgetting. I mentioned this before. I kept forgetting the name, but that's what it's called. It's a Netflix original. Again, shout out to Netflix. They've been doing excellent on their animes, on their original series animes. But this one again is about a guy this boy who's a warrior. He's a soldier. This is way into the future. So far into the future that they've only studied about Earth in the books. Earth, they don't even know if Earth is real. They've heard that this is where human civilization started. So he gets caught up in a worm. Basically, he was in the middle of a battle, and he's really a soldier. They train cats to be soldiers, not to have any kind of relationships with people, nothing. These are straight up soldiers, and their society is like that. So he gets caught up in a wormhole, basically, and gets thrown out, and he doesn't know where he's at. His suit, sort of like a Gundam type suit that he's in, it's got a fully functional AI out of this world, and so it scans and finds a planet that would be suitable for him, and it turns out to be Earth. And Earth is real primitive during this time. When I say primitive, like they're living on boat. I mean, like it's kind of in the boat days. Like their technology is not heavy. I think there are guns and things, but it's not like you see warships and things like that. I mean, these cats, they're living off of these barges, this group that he runs into. He got pirates and things of that nature. And so he's having to, and then his language is different. So that's it was an interesting dynamic. And I definitely been enjoying it. I'm several episodes in, but definitely been enjoying it. So I definitely recommend that. If you guys got Netflix, definitely jump on that. Man, comics. Well, we kind of touched on comics already with the Batman, the Killing Joke. I haven't really read any new. I've got a membership to the Marvel. What is it? Marvel Unlimited. So I've got to get back up on my comic book game, and get some more. Check out some of these new comics that are coming in. So I'll definitely have some stuff on that. But in any event. It's not going to be a long show. This is going to be a quick show. Just wanted to get it around 30 minutes, and we're basically right there. Got about 2 minutes, so I'm just about there. But again, I appreciate you guys listening, man. Again, get your discount tickets. It's $25 for the weekend at www.jampcon.com. We've got next on the show, I'm not sure which show, but we're going to get some special guests calling in. I've been getting in touch. Shout out to Chataween Group and Ricky Blevins. They've been putting me in contact with some professional cosplayers, man, who are top notch. Spoke to a couple of them, Joe Parrish, Night Mage. He's been in Chattanooga several times. Unfortunately, we won't be able to get him for the convention. He's out of prior engagement, man, which good for him, not good for us. but he's definitely is going to join us on the podcast. So we got a few. There's a couple of Stephen Griffith cosplay. There's a couple other names I'm going to get on the show, man, and hopefully we can get them down again for JAMPcon. A couple of them we got the yes to. So very excited about that, man. I really want to get some more of these professional cosplayers I run into at the different conventions like MomoCon and MTAC and others, and man, it just really exposed Chattanooga. Again, Con Nuga, Anime Blast have done a great job already, and we just want to continue that, man, and really bring some professional cats down here for the summer, because we're basically the summer convention, and Con Nuga has it locked down. Shout out to Todd and that group. They've got it locked down. The beginning of the year. Anime Blast has the fall locked down, so we're gonna get fit snugly in that April area. So definitely go to the website, get the latest, and get your tickets. And again, we're gonna be running some promotions here soon. We've been getting some pre-regs in early. I mean, we're at the 7-month mark, and we've got pre-registrations in early. We've also got just a lot of apps on some different stuff. So we're definitely excited about that. Again, Facebook.com/JAMPcon. Go like our page. We're also on Twitter at The Real JAMPcon. We're also hit us up again on if you look up Twitch TV /JAMPcon, the JAMPcon podcast on SoundCloud, and the YouTube page, youtube.com/C/JAMPcon. Again, you guys stay up, man. It's the first day of the week, as I call it, as it is, Sunday. And you guys have a productive week. And we're going to get things rolling. Again, we're going to have a couple of guests for the next podcast, so stay tuned for that. And we will see you guys next time.